What's up and welcome to episode 6 of the Triple W podcast. And if you don't know what the name of the podcast stands for, it stands for the wonderful world of wrestling. And I am your host, August C. Jones, and this is the after show for WrestleMania 34 New Orleans. Now, I had a lot of predictions. I had a lot of kind of like not too much stuff to say, but I put out a podcast yesterday and just giving out my predictions on who I think will win, what I think happened, and stuff like that. And it's safe to say that a lot of my predictions were wrong. I could say I had one prediction that was right, or one or two that was right. I don't know. I'm gonna go through it. Just as I'm looking at my predictions right now, I had like, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 4 right. Yeah, I had 4 of them that was right. Nah, 5. 5 of them that was right. But yeah. So let's get through it. This is actually a pretty decent show. Just to start off, I don't know, like, it was better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought that this WrestleMania wasn't going to be all that, and it ended up, basically giving me more than what I expected it. It gave out more surprises than anything, and that's one thing about WWE. A lot of times, the surprises kind of, I mean, in this, I'm not saying that all the surprises was like, oh my god, blow your mind, but when it comes down to it, a lot of surprises like, oh wow, I did not see them going that route, so, I mean, for those who are listening to this, you probably have seen this, and if you haven't, then you probably don't care about watching, you just, listening to it or whatever the heck. But yeah, this is a kind of a crazy show. Just to start off with the pre-show, I actually did watch the pre-show. For WrestleMania, I kind of had to. I mean, the other pre-shows, the other, pay-per-view events, or just special events, as WWE is trying to transition us to call them, because they're not, in a sense, pay-per-view, because you don't pay for them. I don't know. You know what I mean. But in any case, so it started off with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And so with this, along with like a lot of other people probably didn't know who all was up in here. So I don't think there was a clear lineup of every single participant. It was just probably had like about 10 people that was there, but then they probably had like 5 or 6 more people, or whatever added to the thing. I don't know. I want to say maybe about 20 people altogether. But, we didn't have a clear list of everybody that was up in there. So my pick for it was Dolph Ziggler, just by default, just because that was one of the only big names I could think about. And I didn't really think, I didn't think and I didn't know that Matt Hardy was going to be in there. And Matt Hardy, had I known, he probably would have been a pick. And I probably would have, if I would have thought of Bray Wyatt, I probably would have thought of him too, but he wasn't even up in there. But yeah, so Matt Hardy ends up winning. This is a decent match. Like I said, it's a paycheck. It really is just a paycheck for the mid and lower Carter guys that, don't have as much time on TV or anything, or probably wouldn't have been in WrestleMania or on WrestleMania had this not have been a match on WrestleMania. So, I mean, it's whatever. Matt Hardy won. One of the surprises right off the bat was that Bray Wyatt came out. Now, this is something that I heard before, like after they match that they had that was basically just in the end all of their rivalry. Was at a house show that Bray Wyatt came in, and I guess they had like a thing where Matt Hardy was saying, come over, get broken or something. I guess it was like something to where like he wanted to have an alliance, and they ended up brawling or whatever. But I mean, it was said by like other people that they was going to have them team up, and that was just a rumor mill. And so we see this happening. Bray Wyatt comes in right at the last second of Matt Hardy about to get thrown over the top rope by Baron Corbin and got Mojo Rawley, and so they basically kind of like go at each other for a minute. Bray Wyatt ends up throwing like Mojo Rawley to Matt Hardy, who throws him over the top rope, and then Baron Corbin gets the best of both of them. He gives the end of days to Bray Wyatt, and then he stays in there for a little minute, but ends up eventually getting thrown out. And so basically at that, you see that there is an alliance between Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, and that Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are together, so more than likely they're going to have a tag team, which I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. They had nothing else that they were going to do with Bray Wyatt. Matt Hardy is out. I don't know for how much longer he's out, but until then, Matt Hardy, I have a whole thing of why the broken or woken gimmick isn't working like it was in TNA. But the thing is, they need to make it work somehow. So, I'm going to see where it goes. I'm on board with it, but I'm going to see where it goes. So Matt Hardy ends up winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And so we move on to the next match in the pre-show, which was Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander. I swear I almost be wanting to say Cedric the Entertainer. It just rolls right off the tongue. But just like I said, that was actually one of my predictions. So I say 6. Yeah, 6. Cedric Alexander is a person that, like I said before in my predictions podcast in episode 5, I'm always entertained by Cedric Alexander. He has great talent. He is a great talent in the ring, and just the stuff that he can do is freaking awesome. He just needs to, I say, get his mouth game up. As far as, I don't want that to come out wrong, no homo, but he needs to get basically better with talking on the mic. He needs to develop more of a character and stuff like that, and he will probably be the full package, really. And so he ends up winning, and that's basically how I thought it was. I'm more than likely it was a lot of other people that was on the same boat with me. But Cedric Alexander wins the Cruiserweight Championship. And this is the end of the tournament that was put out after, I think, what was it? I think it was because Enzo Amore. Yeah, I think it was the whole Enzo Amore thing. And he was the Cruiserweight Champion, and then he got fired, and so they had to put it up vacant title, and so he ends up winning. And so there was no surprise there. Then we had the last match for the pre-show is the women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. And so this is a match that we, a lot of people probably guessed that, certain people were going to win. We knew Sasha and Bayley was going to be in there with their sexy asses. They was going to be duking it out. And there was going to be some other chicks from NXT or whatever in there. And Amber Moon wasn't in there. So yeah, that was that threw one of the picks that I had for there, but the pick that I stuck with was Ruby Riott. I felt like that would have probably been a good storyline for her to win and then brag about it and boost her as a heel on SmackDown, but she didn't end up getting it. Neither did Becky, and that was another person that I thought that if Ruby Riott didn't win, Becky was gonna do it. So we get towards the end, and so Bayley and Sasha are the last two, supposedly. And so it comes down to it where Bayley and Sasha kind of about to shake hands, and then Bayley grabs her, basically shakes her hand or whatever, but grabs her and throws her over the top rope, basically doing her the same way that Sasha did her before in the Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble this year and stuff like that. And so everybody thinking that Bayley win, she won and all this stuff, and Bayley thought she won, but then we end up finding out that Naomi didn't get thrown over the top rope, that she was just on the outside of the ring. And so it comes to blows, and then Naomi ends up basically taking it, and that was something that I think that was someone that I don't think a lot of people were counting on to win. I think a lot of people, because I said it up in the podcast. I threw out her name, but I didn't think that she was going to take it. But That's the mistake. That's the mistake that I think a lot of us podcasters or just fans probably had, was that we look at the big names. We look at a Sasha, a Bailey, or a Becky, or a Ruby Riott, or just somebody of notoriety on either show, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, or even NXT. And we don't ever think of like the people that maybe they're not. We haven't really been like looking at, and so. Naomi was one of those people, and when it comes down to it, you think about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal the past few years. Mojo Rawley won, Baron Corbin won. You had those names, and so it's like, yeah, maybe we should start looking at other people besides the big names. The only big names for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal that won, I think this is maybe the 5th year or the 4th year. I think it's the 4th year, is Matt Hardy and Big Show. And so it was like, it's whatever. But I think next year I'm going to try and broaden my horizons. But yeah, so Naomi wins. And so that ends the pre-show. So getting to the main card, WrestleMania starts off with Rollins versus Balor versus The Miz. And my pick was Balor for the victory. And I did not see Seth winning. I really didn't see it winning. I didn't see Miz winning either. I didn't think that Miz was going to win. It was either going to be between Seth and Balor, and I thought Balor was going to take it, but Seth wins. And he gives basically, what is it? Balor gives the coup de grace to The Miz, and then when he's pinning him, Seth Rollins comes in and curve stomp Finn Balor, and then he gives another curve stomp to The Miz for the win. And all together, this is a good, enjoyable match. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't one of the best on there on the show, but it was really entertaining. I enjoyed it. Seth and Finn have good chemistry in the match, or just in the ring, period. You can just look at them and know, if you've watched even just matches of them separate, you already know that they're kind of like evenly matched. You can say Seth may be, a little bit more stronger than Finn, but as far as their in-ring ability, they basically kind of like match each other out, and it was actually a pretty good match. The second match is Asuka versus Charlotte. Everybody and their mama more than likely said that Asuka was going to win. They could have put money on it. They would have been like, yo, Asuka is going to win, and that's no joke. And obviously the joke is on us because Charlotte took it. I didn't see Charlotte winning. I thought Asuka was going to keep her, streak for maybe a few more months, or at least into SummerSlam. I thought that they was going to keep it going. I didn't think that they were going to end it here. But if, I guess WrestleMania is one of the places to end certain stuff, if any other place, if not any other place. And so I was shocked when I saw her tap. I'm like, wow. I would have thought that, if she would have won, it probably would have been by like pinfall or something like that. But by a submission, okay, I could see that. But one of the moves that really caught me, one of the highlights of the match, was Asuka doing like the suplex to Charlotte off the side of the ring on the outside of the mat, and that was something that caught me off guard. I'm like, yo, that was kind of painful. That was kind of painful. But another highlight of it was the submissions that Asuka was putting on Charlotte. Like, she was just whipping them out. I'm like, God damn, this she doing the damn thing. And it was a back and forth throughout the match. And it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. And Charlotte put in the figure eight to Asuka, like I said. And not only did she put that in, but she put it in after a spear. But she did it with one arm, because during the match, Charlotte hurt her arm. And so Asuka pointed out, like, see, I got you. Your arm hurting. I'm about to go after it. And so Asuka was targeting that from that point on. And, it didn't work out for Asuka, because in the end, Charlotte just used her other arm to complete the figure eight, and she ended up winning at the end of the match. You got Asuka getting the microphone and saying that you already knew what she was gonna say. That Charlotte was ready for Asuka, and then they got that respect and stuff, and so we're going about our day. After that, you get word to this referee to come out to John Cena, who's sitting in the crowd, and so he tells him more than likely that the Undertaker is there and blah blah blah, and that just letting them know. And so he's like, "Are you sure?" And so he jumps up over the barricade and runs to the back, getting ready because later on he's gonna come out. And so the next match after that is Rude versus Orton versus Rusev versus Mahal for the United States Championship. And this is one of the predictions that I thought that I knew what was gonna win. Oh, I ain't gonna say knew, but I predicted it. It was Mahal for the win. And this was, I think, it was kind of good and kind of bad. It was like, this is a good because you got Mahal being a heel, and you're giving him something to where it's like he's not an American, or he's actually not an American. I mean, he's not. I mean, his heritage is from India. I don't know if he's originally from India, or I don't know if he's originally from India. But that's not like where he came over here as soon as he got signed with WWE, and he's like the Great Khali or something like that. But he is Canadian. He just has strong roots to the Indian culture and Punjabi and all that stuff. And so so it kind of matches with his character, that he is not an American, but yet he's holding the United States Championship, and so. It sticks, and so I feel like that will push him as a heel. I don't know if it's gonna make him like the greatest heel, but it's gonna push him further as a heel. And so the thing is with Rusev, I feel like they maybe should have gave him the title, only because from what I heard is that Rusev went really over with the crowd in New Orleans last night. With the whole Rusev Day. I mean, he's over wherever he goes. Like, that just took off the whole Rusev Day and everything else. With Aiden English singing it and all that stuff. It's like it took over, And so, I feel like if they gave him the title, I feel like that would have made a major pop. Like, it would have been, like, crazy. But they didn't do it, and it was whatever. But Mahal got the win from one of the Singh brothers, actually the only Singh brother that's with him now, who jumped on the rope, and then like he went off the distraction and ended up doing his finisher to Rusev and getting the victory. And so Mahal is now the new United States champion. And so the next match is another match that I predicted, right? It's the Rousey Angle versus McMahon and Triple H in a mixed tag team match. And so this is a match that I said in my predictions that it could go either way. It could go like Rousey and Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle could lose. But Kurt Angle takes the fall or whatever, or the submission or whatever, and then but Rousey, she helps him up, and then Triple H and Stephanie kind of backs up like, yo, yeah, we won, blah blah, I told you we gonna dominate, blah blah, and that's it, we the bosses and all that stuff. Or it could have been like Ronda could have did a heel turn where she ends up costing herself and Kurt Angle to lose the match by basically turning on Kurt Angle while Triple H pedigrees him, and then they get the victory, and then she has an alliance with the Authority. Or it could have went how it went last night, where Ronda Rousey ends up winning for her team. And I predicted that it was going to be like a double, where Kurt Angle was going to get Triple H and the ankle lock, and Ronda Rousey was going to get Stephanie McMahon in a submission, and they was going to be tapping at the same time, and then they was going to win. At one point I thought that was going to happen, but it ended up not happening. But one of the things that stood out in this match was that Ronda Rousey did pretty good. In the weeks coming to this match, in the weeks prior to WrestleMania, we got little hints and little things of like how she wrestles and stuff like that, or how she looks in the ring as far as doing wrestling moves and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, I don't know how she gonna do WrestleMania. And it's like you kind of feel for her, you kind of like cringe, you like, I don't want her to mess up. But when she got in there, she actually did good. It was one move when she was like throwing Stephanie back that I feel like she kind of like, messed up on. It wasn't too bad. But after that, she was doing good. Like, she was doing real good. Like, she actually did better than what I thought she was going to do. Of course, she still needs some more cleaning up and, get better in the ring. But for this being her first official match on a pay-per-view, and not only a pay-per-view, the pay-per-view of the year, WrestleMania, she did pretty damn good. Like, I was shocked. And this match overall was a pretty damn good match. Was a really, really good match. I was super shocked. I knew Stephanie can do good because in that match that she had against Brie Bella a few years ago at SummerSlam, she was awesome in there. Like, I didn't know Stephanie could get down like that. I thought Stephanie was gonna be, kind of awkward, but she handled herself in that match. So I knew coming now, Stephanie was gonna know how to. She knows her way around the ring, So I didn't have like no doubts about that. Triple H, he's getting older, but he still knows what he's doing. Kurt Angle, he's getting older. He knows what he's doing, but he's getting a little bit older, and it's kind of showing. So I don't know, but overall, this was a really good match. I enjoyed it. I was getting ready to take my son home, and this match came on, or I think I was about to jump in the shower or something, and like this match came on, and so I had to stop. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna run up in here, and I'll watch it later. But then something happened. I'm like, okay, and I had to sit down. But yeah, this match was a really good match. I was so surprised. This is actually one of my favorite matches of the night. This is actually pretty good, And basically, Ronda Rousey, she taps out Stephanie for the victory, and this is very enjoyable. And so we got the next match being the New Day versus the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers, and it's for the Raw Tag Team Championship. No, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Sorry about that, but the Bludgeon Brothers win. I didn't think that they were going to take it. I thought the Usos was going to retain. Of course, I knew that the New Day wasn't going to take it. But I was surprised. But this was actually a pretty good match, too. The Bludgeon Brothers, they actually did pretty damn good. I mean, Luke Harper looked incredible. Just his overall look and what he was doing in the ring. Even Eric Rowan. I was liking everything that was happening in the match. The Usos was killing it. New Day was killing it. Everything that was going on was really pretty damn good. But the Bludgeon Brothers... Try saying that 5 times fast. The Bludgeon Brothers. But the Bludgeon Brothers, they were very dominant in this match. I didn't think that they were going to be as dominant as they were, but they were very dominant. They weren't like flat out dominant. Like, it was just a landslide of like, just they couldn't be touched. It was they were very dominant, and it was crazy to see. But overall, they ended up coming out for the victory. And it was a really, really good match. Very entertaining. So next we have John Cena versus The Undertaker in an impromptu match. But we all know, whatever. This match, at the end of the day, was just a filler. It was a match that should have happened years ago, but didn't. For some strange reason, it didn't happen. This match is a match that should have happened. And it wasn't... this is a match that didn't need to be on the card. Just to put out in plain English, this is a match that didn't need to put on the card. This is a match that simply, because the Undertaker was in it, that you stayed there. You stayed in your seat. But when you got to the end of the match, the people that was there, or just even the people that was watching it at home or wherever, it was like, You know, I could have went to the bathroom. You know, it was like we had a 10-hour entrance for the Undertaker, and then the match like for 5 minutes. And it wasn't even like a compelling match. It wasn't a match to where, I mean, it was flat out. The Undertaker won with one tombstone. It was like all the hype up leading up to WrestleMania for this match. John Cena campaigning for him to go against the Undertaker, and how the Undertaker is just such as a coward and this and that, and he wants this match and he do this. He didn't. It was no reason for this match. I feel like had this match been basically one of the matches that's been put on the card as like, this is happening. You know, some weeks back, Undertaker responds to John Cena, and this is hyped, and this is one of the main matches, and put last, and actually they put effort into this match. This could have been one of the best matches on there. John Cena, he can give good matches. Undertaker, he's getting old, but he could have a good match in him. You know, even if this is his last match or second to last match, he has a good match in him. And this could have been, but I think it was only less because the Undertaker is getting of age. So it was like he can't last that long in the ring. So they had him go out here, throw Cena around, do this, tombstone, bam, you win. And it was like, I don't know, like this match, it was, I didn't care for it. This is a bathroom break. And that's something that you would never see. If I would have come to you 5 years ago, or even 2-3 years ago, and tell you that John Cena and Undertaker are going to have a match, WrestleMania 34, and it's going to be a bathroom break. It's going to be a match that if you're there, you go and get concessions. You go to the bathroom. You make a call. Check on your kids or something like that. Or you at home, you know, you go to the bathroom, you go make a sandwich. It's one of them type of matches. You will probably be like, oh hell nah, that's gonna be a match of the night, or that's gonna be a good match and this and that. But this is like years in the making, and they give us this match, and it's a 5-minute match, and it's a bathroom break. It's in a sense, it's kind of, I would say it's disrespectful to the Undertaker and disrespectful to John Cena, because this is a match that no matter if you don't like John Cena or you love him, this is a match that you were highly anticipating, because a lot of people wanted this match. This match was supposed to, I think, happen last year, but they wanted to have the John Cena, Nikki Bella versus the Miz Maurice, and then him propose to her and stuff like that. They wanted to have that. And so they passed over this match, and it was kind of like they shouldn't have. And this is just confusing with the Undertaker. We thought he, retired last year, and he didn't. And I guess like the whole thing with his hat and stuff up in the ring, it was showing that like, yeah, he left it in the ring, but then once the lightning struck it and it was gone, then it was like, I'm back out of retirement. You know, it was just kind of like that. Don't get me wrong, it was a decent match, but from basically just thinking about what it could have been way better than what it was, and it deserved a bigger spot and just more than what it was given, and we deserved more than what we was given. But even before that, John Cena came out. He was expecting the Undertaker. The lights go out. Elias comes out and he plays around with the audience, and so John Cena gets upset and he goes back and he's gonna go sit down. And so Elias sings a song. He's talking about the crowd. He's talking about John Cena and stuff like that. John Cena had enough, jumps back in the ring, takes out Elias, walks back up the ramp, and then that's when the lights go out, and then the Undertaker with the hat and the jacket in the ring, and the lightning, the fake lightning strikes, and then everything begins. And it was like John Cena is one of those people that's just like Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns is just like John Cena, but both two in the same, that, kick out at two. And John Cena is taken out by, one tombstone. It's just, I don't know, like this match was disappointing. Let's move on. And so the next match is Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which was a decent match. I enjoyed it. They took out Daniel Bryan at the beginning of the match. And so it was Shane McMahon going at it alone for a good little while. And then when it came to Shane McMahon needing help, Daniel Bryan ended up coming in, breaking up a count. And so getting back up in the fold, Daniel Bryan looked good. And so the match was decent. Daniel Bryan ends up tapping out Sami Zayn for the victory, which how it should have gone. This is a match that I predicted the win. Oh yeah, matter of fact, I predicted the whole Undertaker Cena match. But this is a match that I predicted that was going to end the way it was going to end. And it needed to be that way. It needed to be that way. And you know, I know like everybody else, we was all cringing thinking that like Shane McMahon ain't 100%. And Daniel Bryan, he could be on the shelf again, you know, after this match. So we was kind of cringing like, Daniel Bryan, don't do nothing stupid. Shane McMahon, don't do nothing stupid. You know, we was just, you know, but it ended up being good. It's a good match, good competition. And who the people that won should have won, which was Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. So there's no surprises there. Next one is Bliss versus Jax. So Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. And this match went how I thought it was gonna be. Jax takes out Mickie James at the beginning, so she won't be a contributing factor in the match. And so basically Nia ends up being dominant for majority of the match, but Alexa Bliss give us some go. Alexa Bliss dominates for a good little minute. You know, and I was like, okay. She was able to take her own. She was able to hold her own up in the match, but comes down to it, Samaya Jax. Wow. What is Samoan? Okay, so I'm looking at Samoan because I'm looking at my notes right now. So Samoan. So Nia Jax for the victory. So to secure the victory, Nia Jax takes Bliss up on her shoulders. And thinking about doing a Samoan drop, but she has an idea to climb up on the rope, the bottom rope. Then she climbs up on the mid rope and then does the Samoan drop from the mid rope, pins her 1, 2, 3, and gets the Raw Women's Championship for the first time. She gets all emotional and all that stuff, and I feel like that match ended the way it should have ended, with Nia getting the victory, and I'm happy. I'm happy that she did win it. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with her storyline with Alexa Bliss and stuff going forward. And so the next match is Styles versus Nakamura, and so this is another match that I did predict that was gonna be. And it makes sense, you know, that Styles win. Nakamura can get it at a later time. He don't need to get it at WrestleMania. He don't need to get it there. It would have been cool to see him win it at WrestleMania, especially in like a great, spectacular way. But I mean, Styles win. It was a very good match. I enjoyed it. It was a very good match. It was a back and forth between them. Nakamura's finisher, the Kinshasa. Ain't that what it's called? The Kinshasa. That's I don't know. What does that mean? Anyway, he tries to do the Kinshasa to AJ Styles, but it's countered, and AJ Styles turns it into the Styles Clash, pinning him for the victory. And afterwards, Nakamura comes up to Styles, thinking about to give him respect, and so he grabs his belt. He gets the belt from the referee. He gets down on one knee and he hands AJ Styles the championship, which was awkward because he was kind of right there next to his private part, which it's not worse than when Undertaker pinned John Cena and his crotch was literally right there in his face. So I guess Nakamura got the better end of the stick. That's not a good way to, but anyway, good thing Nakamura is tall, because that would have been even more awkward. But in any case, moving on, one thing that I did notice, I'm thinking like something about to happen, because it's kind of like, I look at it as like, you know, when you're watching a movie and the camera angle is in a certain way, you kind of think like something about to happen. There's a reason why they're having this character all the way on this side of the screen, but yet having that side of the screen just free. So something's about to come up in the background and, be behind that character. It's kind of like that. When, like, certain people are in certain positions or the camera angles in a certain kind of, like, frame or angle, you kind of predict that something's going to happen. And so I was like, he may turn heel. I didn't call it. I wasn't like, oh, Nakamura about to turn heel. He about to, like, low blow him. But I'm thinking, like, he may or may not turn heel. I'm kind of in the middle. Let me see what's going to happen. And so, for sure, Nakamura ends up low blowing AJ Styles and ends up taking him out, finishes him off with a, basically, he was just stomping his head. He was stomping his head up in the mat and kicked him out the ring. And he did the Kinshasa to him outside of the ring. And so now Nakamura is heel, and so thus a new rivalry is born between Nakamura and AJ Styles, which should have a lot of good matches going toward the future, which this match was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. And so the next match, yeah, we almost done. We almost there. We are almost there. The next match is The Bar versus Braun Strowman and a mystery opponent. Now, a lot of people probably think like, yeah, it's probably going to be Samoa Joe, maybe Big Cass, maybe Elias, maybe somebody in the back, Big Show, Mark Henry, whoever. We don't know. So, when he came out, he said that like his partner isn't anybody in the back. So, it was like, maybe that's kind of like a something to where like Samoa Joe is sitting in a crowd. And he's not actually physically in the back. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with that. But then he ends up saying that, like, it's one of you. So I'm like, okay, where they're going with this? So he points at the crowd and says, one of you, or one of you, or one of you. And, like, you get a car, or you going to be my tag team partner, you be my tag team partner. And so so he goes out into the crowd looking for people. He goes all around, spends like about 5 minutes looking for somebody. He ends up finding this little kid, little Nicky. And so he brings him to the ring, and so he basically starts the match starts. Lil Nicky is his partner, and so they go at it. Eventually, end up winning. At one point, Lil Nicky was scared because he ends up tagging. Strowman ends up tagging Lil Nicky. Lil Nicky comes up and then he looks scared against Cesaro, looking like, oh yeah, this about to happen. This about to be easy. But then he ends up tagging Braun Strowman again, and Braun Strowman ends up taking him out with the running power slam, which I thought would have been cool if he would have tagged Lil Nicky and Lil Nicky came in and pinned him. Then that probably would have been something to work with the That probably would have been something that worked with the storyline and just further the rivalry. That he got pinned by a little kid. That would have probably been good, but he did the running power slam, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and so Braun Strowman and for now Lil Nicky are the Raw Tag Team Champions, and that was just something. That was another surprise that I didn't see coming. But, it was entertaining. It was, it wasn't a match to be taken serious. It was just, a match. But, and so rounding off the 14th match of the night and the final match of the night, thank you, Lord, is the Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar match that everybody probably didn't care to see, but we was interested in seeing what was going to happen. We all knew that Roman Reigns was going to win. We all knew that Roman Reigns was going to carry it on. Brock Lesnar was going to go fight for UFC. And this is I'll say, the biggest surprise of the night. Because everyone and their mama and their little kids and little aunties and little cousins and stuff all thought that Roman Reigns was going to take it, and Roman Reigns didn't. This was a huge shock, and I was like, wow, because the match was like a back and forth. Like, it was crazy. Like, you had a whole bunch of spears, you had a whole bunch of Superman punches, you had a whole bunch of F5s. Like, it was crazy, and just back to back. Even like Brock Lesnar was getting frustrated. Like, he did like 3 back to backs of F5s to Roman Reigns, and then he still couldn't secure the victory. Takes him outside, F5s him through the announcer table, put him back in the ring, gives him another F5, and then pins him. Still can't get the victory. And so Roman Reigns gets the upper hand, and so he ends up doing I think he did like a Superman punch, or he did a spear. He had some momentum going, but then ultimately Lesnar takes control of the match, takes the gloves off, and basically just goes UFC all over Roman Reigns' face, get him bloody. And I may have my situation mixed up. I think Roman Reigns got the upper hand after he got bloody, but then, whatever. But ultimately, Brock Lesnar secures the victory by bashing in Roman Reigns' face. And after Roman Reigns get a little momentum, he hits him with the F5 and wins. And so Roman Reigns walks out of WrestleMania the loser, which was something that I don't think anybody thought was going to happen, but it happened. And so we have title changes tonight, and then we have titles retained tonight, and one of the big titles, well, both of the big titles, I mean, WWE and Universal titles were both retained, but I mean, the Lesnar Roman match, I actually kind of liked. I mean, overall, just this WrestleMania was good. Like, I enjoyed it. I really did. It wasn't the best, but it was better than last year. It was really better than last year. So, I'll say, what I usually give a score out of, I'll say, yeah, I usually give it out of 10. I may change the score from, like, when I do movie reviews to when I do show reviews on, like, when I'm going to do music reviews and stuff like that. But for now, out of 10, I would give this, I say 8. I'll give it an 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5. 8 at the lowest. Because I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this WrestleMania. This is a really good WrestleMania. And I've noticed that they didn't have any musical performances in this WrestleMania, because usually they'll have like it'll be like the Super Bowl. You'll have your halftime, and then you have like one or two performers come out, or a performer perform like one or two songs or whatever, and then you'll have a lot of, matter of fact, it wasn't even a lot of like backstage segments. This is straight WrestleMania. Like, this is different. And I guess that's why I like it so much. It was, 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5. I wouldn't say 9, but I'll give it an 8.5. This is really enjoyable. It had some of the stuff that we didn't want up in it. It didn't have really any backstage segments. And it didn't have a lot of filler besides the Cena Undertaker match. But overall, I enjoyed it. And it was pretty good. Pretty damn good. I'll give it up to WWE. They did good this year. So I want to see what they're going to have in store for us next year. So, yeah. And with that said, this concludes my episode 6 of the Triple W podcast. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. And if you can, put your comments down there below what you thought about WrestleMania this year, whether you loved it, hated it, whatever. And just stay tuned for my channel, and I have a lot more content coming out. And that's really all I gotta say. Everything else is in the description below. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and turn on your notifications. That way you'll be notified for anything that appears on my channel. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.